Hey everybody, Deke here from D-Fixin' again. Well, it's Saturday. First beautiful day we had in a while. You see we got the truck out with, we got out the big box again. And we were out riding around. And we had an ATV to deliver down to Watch Creek. And we got to pet some horsies and a mini donk. And it was a good time. And then on the way back, well, we made a stop. So I had a buddy give up on another ATV. So we're gonna pull this thing out of here, see if we can get it running and what we got to do to it. And then we'll probably just tuck it back in a shed for a little while until another day that we can put more effort into it. So let's just take a quick look around here. So the tires are in pretty bad shape. They're pretty dry rotted. One flat on the front. It's got a gun rack. Everything's a little rusty, but it's not like bad rusty. Now I've already checked this thing. The brake cables work. The front hydraulic brakes are really good. There ain't a lick of gas in it. I worked on this bike about maybe 2 years ago because the guy put a carburetor on it and then it wouldn't run. And this thing has a little, and there's no way for me to be able to show you, but you can see right there at the bottom of the view is a plunger. And that's the primer. So if you hit the primer on this bike 3 times, it would fire right up and run, which that's kind of what we're hoping for here in a minute. I'm gonna go get some gas and a battery, because you can tell this thing was sitting outside. Seat was probably off of it, so I'm pretty sure that battery is trashed. But in the spirit of it all, and then I dinged that up pretty good. I had to makeshift tow rope to pull it up because I'm getting old and didn't want to tow it by hand. So I towed it in here with the trusty Polaris. And I know you guys remember this one. This is the one that I totally redid over the winter. So we borrowed it back to go to Busco, and it had a handlebar problem. The bushing's going out of the handlebar. So I just got the bushing for the handlebar, so I got to fix that and get it back to that guy. And then we want to put a little bit of effort into this. So give me a couple minutes. I'm going to go get some tools, some gasoline, and a battery. And then if everything goes good, maybe we'll be able to run this thing up the road. All right, so I guess you start off with a really big fat apology because you really can't see it that good, but we had to take the whole front end loose on this bike to replace this bushing. And folks, sometimes there's a reason you take stuff to the dealership. But she's all set to go back together, so we're going to give this thing a little bit of cleanup, and then it'll be ready to go back to its owner. Yeah. All right, so we're just going to check the fluids in this thing one time. We're going to try and add a little bit of air to the one front tire. We'll slash her with some gas and a hot battery, and we'll see what happens. Oh yeah. Full to the top. That could also be a lie because I just dumped this thing over on its face to get it out of there, but it's got oil in it. Oh yeah, she got the Honda brake syndrome. Love that. So I'll pop you guys out real quick. just so you guys can see this. All right, so on these Hondas, the back brake, everybody says the back brake goes bad, but really the brake bar affixes itself to the frame and you can't move it. And if you can't move that, the other part stops working too. Not a big deal. I just got to tear this whole side of the bike off, beat the ever-loving snot out of that. But for today's purposes, we don't need brakes. All right, so like I said, we're gonna pop a little bit of fuel in this thing first. The tank is totally dry. I think the last time that I started this thing, I actually put a couple gallons of airplane fuel in it. I don't want to put a crap load of fuel in it just in case it don't run, but I want enough to be able to get it up on the full. You want to do a long pour? And then I spilled it trying to be cool. All right, that should at least be enough gas to ride it for a couple of minutes. It's got a working gas gauge, folks. That's like them boys when they pop the hood and they see a Cummins motor, it'll run. The gas gauge works, it'll run. There's nobody here to stop me from lying. All right. Now you remember that primer button I was telling you about? You got to reach down in here and just touch it with the very end of your finger. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna pump it a few times because she's pretty dry. Can't really tell any difference. Try that. Oh yeah, now we got fuel. Who's hopeful? Who's more hopeful than that? That's why you shouldn't talk crap on camera. Oh, we got dash lights now. Still no starter. Okay, who forgot to check and see if it was in neutral? All right, who's getting more hopeful? Really? Okay, folks. So, a little bit of looking. That's everything we took off of the bike. Half of a wet dry back. And it's not a little wet dry back. But we cleaned out the back, cleaned out all of that, cleaned out the running boards, we aired up the tire, and we had to change out the battery. The battery was totally shot, and I put a battery in it that was only partially shot. But we're going to give her a quick look here, see what happens. We're in neutral. Why does this thing got to keep making a liar out of me? All right, folks, so here's where we are. All right, we had to pull the side off, and then in pulling the side off, the carb mixture screw was hanging right here, so we were able to turn the idle up a little bit. And then this air breather thing is totally, you can see it there, it's so crunchy, every time you touch it, it just flakes away. So I'll probably just have to take all that out and then figure out some way to keep it from sucking water off of the ground. And then the ground wire where it connects to the back of the motor is bad. Like I said before, we put another battery in it, and then I just got jumper cables creating the ground. But to show you, we're just going to hit the old key here. I'm just going to touch it. And it runs like $1,000,000. It don't click, it don't bang, it don't even shake very much. Total winner. Alright, so what are we doing today? We got the new tow rig out. We're just trying to run the motor a little and feel it out. So I thought I'd get her to pull something good and heavy. We pulled the wheels off the Argo, and we're going to get them looked at, see if we can't get them to hold air with some tubes. And I took the spacers off. When this thing has tracks on it, there's a 4-inch spacer that goes on here that makes it so that the wheels stick out 4 more inches for the tracks. But I pulled all of that off, so when I put it back on there, the wheels will essentially be 8 inches closer together overall, and hopefully that'll make it fit on a trailer a little better. But I just want to drive it a little bit before I go and invest in some new wheels. You know, there's a lot of other little things that got to get done to this thing before she's going to be trustworthy. But the motor runs exceptional. The transmission doesn't make any noise. We'll still change the fluids and all of that. But I got a really bad feeling that we have to pull the motor all the way out of this thing to change the oil. And I'm not super confident about that. But that's kind of where we are. We just need to get it out of the garage for a couple of days so that I can work on a couple other things. And there's the trusty tow rig.